Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing Super Troopers 2. Taking place years after the original, the mischievous group of cops is back again, as it's discovered that a Canadian town near the US border is technically a part of America. The group are given back their jobs as highway patrolmen and are tasked with enforcing US law, as well as helping the town to transition into being Americans. However, when the group makes a drug bust, they discover that a much bigger plot is unfolding, which involves the entire town. Now, I like the original Super Troopers. The movie was a pretty funny, wacky comedy involving a group of cops who spend much of their time pulling pranks on suspects or on one another. Although the plot of the movie wasn't the best, and it didn't star big-name comedy actors, the movie manages to be a fun time and has some really funny moments. And a big part of that was the camaraderie between the Broken Lizard group, who made this movie and are friends in real life, and it really shined through in the movie, as well as in their other films, even if they all haven't been as good. But I have to say that most of what was fun about the original is found in the sequel as well. The group of cops are back at it, making non-routine traffic stops, pulling pranks on one another, and getting into the shenanigans that made the first one fun. One of my favorite bits from this film has to be the scene with an electrified microphone. But the gang themselves are also pranked by the Canadian police known as Mounties. And much of the humor of this film stems from the division between the Canadians and the Americans. The Americans make fun of the way the Canadians speak and their lifestyle, and vice versa. The comedy in this film is definitely not PC and can be pretty raunchy at times, which I'm sure some people won't care for. As for the plot, it's pretty standard. The mayor of the town, played by Rob Lowe, is secretly using the town to passively smuggle drugs into the US. As when the town becomes US soil, he won't have to cross the border with them. However, like the first movie, the plot mostly exists in order to give the gang an excuse to do comedic bits. And in these scenes is where most of the fun of the movie is really found. As for any other real negatives, I feel like they really turned Farva's character up to 11 in terms of being obnoxious in this movie. He's an annoying character by nature, but they seem to push it much further in this movie. Although I like the idea that they presented that every job has its own Farva. Some of the writing is also pretty weak at points, and the plot seems less focused and even more all over the place than the previous film, but overall, I think it comes down to taste, and if this is the kind of comedy that you're into. As I'm sure some people won't like it at all, and many didn't like the original film either, so it comes down to your own preferences. Overall, I found Super Troopers 2 to be a funny sequel with some good laughs and some fun comedy set pieces. I don't think it's quite as good as the original, but it was cool to see Broken Lizard back to form in this movie. I'm going to give Super Troopers 2 a 6 out of 10. Now, is this a movie you need to see in theaters? Not really, unless you're a die-hard fan of Broken Lizard. Either way, I'm sure you'll be fine just watching it on Blu-ray or streaming. So what did you think of Super Troopers 2? Let me know down below, and if you like this content, then make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.